Next, we're going to need our large paper, our extra long strip of paper, and our ruler. So we have all the information that we need on this photocopy, and we have a ruler that we've used to find those distances. But before we can draw that onto the large paper, we have to figure out how big is our box, how big is our basic unit on this. If we make it too small, then Mario will be too small in relation to this rectangle. If we make it too big, then Mario is going to be too big and not fit on the box. So we need to determine how to get this the correct size. To solve this problem, we need to understand the relationship of our box to the edge of this rectangle, because this rectangle represents the piece of paper, so we know how big that piece of paper is. So if we understand how this relates in size to this, then we can find out how big our ruler for the large paper should be. So we're going to look at this starting in the top left corner, and we're going to see how far it is from the left to the right. So if I go to this point, this is exactly 1, and I still have some empty space left. So I'll slide this over, and we can see it's a little bit past 3/4. Now, to make this easier, we're just going to go ahead and say that's 3/4, even though it's off a little bit. For what we're doing, that small difference isn't going to affect our drawing that much. So we know that we have one whole section here, and we have 3/4 up here. To figure this out, we need to change these numbers into two numbers that we can add together. So when you talk about fractions, if you have 4 sections and only 3 here, we need to have 4 sections out of 4 here. So we know that 4/4 is how many sections are here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4/4 in this. So 4/4 is equal to 1, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So total from the left side to the right side, I have 7 sections that are 1/4 wide. So there's 7 sections that are exactly 1/4 wide. So we're looking at the large paper, and we have this distance. And if we could divide this into 7 equal sections, we know that this is also divided into 7 equal sections. If we can get 7 sections here, we know that we have 7 sections here. 4 of those sections is the size of our box. So if we have 7 sections and we only pick 4 of those 4 sections should be equal to the size of the box on this piece of paper. So let's go ahead and get our ruler, and we're going to use centimeters and see how wide this piece of paper is. So starting on the top left with 0, and be careful, some rulers have extra space, so you never want to start with the edge of the ruler. You always want to find the first mark that has 0. So starting on the left side, this paper is 30 centimeters with a little extra space. So it's 30.5 centimeters. So we have 30.5 centimeters from the left side to the right. Now we need to divide this into 7 sections. So if we divide this by 7, we get roughly 4.3, we'll round up to 3.6 centimeters. So we can divide this into 7 equal sections that are 4.36 centimeters. Now, if we take 4.36 centimeters, and we need 4 of those to equal the size of our box, that is 17.44, and we'll just round that up to 17.5, since we know that this is actually a little bit more than 1 3/4, and we just kept it easy by keeping exactly 7 sections. So I had to do a quick edit here. In the last step, I said that we should round this up to 17.5. What I meant to do was to say round it down to 17.4. If we round this up, it's actually going to make it where it doesn't fit quite right. So we're going to change that to 17.4 and then create our marks on this piece of paper. So we have our long strip of paper. We have our ruler. We're going to line this up so that 0, not the edge of the ruler, because some rulers have extra space. So you don't ever want to use the end of the ruler because that might mess up your distances. We'll put 0 on the left side, go over to 17, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 little marks. So double check that you have is correct. If you make this too big or too small, it's going to mess up everything that you're drawing on your large paper. So once again, 0 is on the left side of the strip of paper, then 17, 1, 2, 3, 4 little marks, and that should be the end. So this will be 1 whole distance, and of course this will be your starting point at 0. So go ahead and take this, and I'll leave that underneath so you can see it better. We're going to fold the left side over to 1. And that will be our halfway point. We'll fold the left side to the halfway point. And that will give us 1/4. We'll mark that and label that 1/4. And then we'll take the halfway point and line that up with 1. Crease that. And that will give us our 3/4. Now, before we do the other marks, let's double check that this does line up correctly. So if we've done this correctly, we have our large sheet of paper, we have our new larger ruler. If we start on the left side, we have 0 on the left side, and at this point we've went 1. And then if I line this up here on the right, we should go exactly 3/4. Now, if you're off just a little bit to the left or the right, you don't have to stress about it. It's not going to make that big of a difference. But if you're off a whole lot from 3/4 one way or the other, go back and double check that you did make this distance from 0 to 1 exactly 17.4 centimeters. But if you have this going across 1 3/4, that's exactly what you want. And I'm going to go ahead and label this drawing so I don't get it mixed up with the smaller one. And we're going to take our small one. We're going to take the small one, and we want to go ahead and create the 1/8, 3/8, and so on. And then any of the 16ths we have, we'll go ahead and add those also. So if you want to fold this in half, that's fine. If you can just look at it and estimate, that's also okay. Whichever you feel more comfortable with. So we're just going to make sure we have all the marks that we used in analyzing the boxes on our large paper so that we can draw those. So we have 1/16. We have 5/16 between 1/4 and 3/8. We have 7/16 between 3/8 and 1/2. We have 11/16 between 5/8 and 3/4. So once you have these matching, where you have all the correct numbers, we'll start drawing the boxes on the large paper.